you still have your gold necklace on. You still have your car parked outside. I'm talking to you.
Answering you.
This story is a deeply emotional and realistic portrayal of love, deception, resilience, and ultimately self-discovery. At its core, it explores what happens when a woman gives her all, emotionally, financially, and psychologically, to a man who is not who he claims to be. But beyond the heartbreak, it is a powerful story about reclaiming identity and choosing self-worth over illusion. The story begins in a vibrant, almost glamorous setting. Nancy, a confident and accomplished woman working in finance, is introduced as someone who understands structure, discipline, and responsibility. She meets Kenneth, Kenny, a charming and seemingly successful man in real estate. From the very first interaction, Kenny presents himself as everything a woman might admire: confident, generous, ambitious, and attentive. He pays lavish bills without hesitation, speaks of high-end projects, and carries himself with an air of success. Naturally, Nancy is drawn to him. However, what starts as attraction quickly evolves into a relationship built on appearances rather than substance. Kenny's charm becomes his strongest tool, masking the absence of real financial stability. He constantly speaks of deals about to close and money on the way, creating an illusion of success that Nancy gradually begins to believe in. This is where the story subtly introduces one of its strongest themes: the danger of believing potential over reality. As their relationship deepens, the imbalance becomes more evident. Nancy begins to take on financial responsibilities, first subtly, then completely. She pays for rent, covers bills, supports household expenses, and even funds their wedding. The most striking revelation is that she unknowingly pays for her own bride price, a cultural and emotional betrayal that symbolizes just how far the deception has gone. Despite the red flags, Nancy remains emotionally invested. Her friends notice inconsistencies and try to warn her, but she dismisses their concerns. This reflects a very human tendency to defend what we hope is true, even when evidence suggests otherwise. Nancy is not portrayed as naive. Rather, she is portrayed as someone who wants to believe in love, stability, and the man Kenny pretends to be. The story takes a dramatic turn when the truth begins to unravel. Kenny is exposed as a serial manipulator who runs the same script with multiple women. He fabricates financial struggles, gains sympathy, and convinces women to support him with promises of repayment. Nancy discovers that she is not the only one. Another woman has also been funding his lifestyle, unaware that he is married. This revelation is devastating, not just because of the betrayal, but because of what it represents. Nancy realizes she has not only been deceived, but has also been living in a constructed reality, a performance carefully maintained by Kenny. Her famous realization, "I married the idea of you, the performance of you," perfectly captures the emotional core of the story. What follows is not revenge, but awakening. Nancy chooses to leave. This decision is not immediate or easy, especially because she now has a child and another on the way. However, she reaches a point where clarity outweighs attachment. She recognizes that love should not require constant sacrifice without reciprocity. She stops funding Kenny's life and begins the difficult process of rebuilding her own. Meanwhile, Kenny's arc takes an unexpected turn. Unlike typical antagonists, he does not remain static. After being exposed and losing access to Nancy's support, he begins to confront his actions. He attends therapy, acknowledges his reliance on charm and manipulation, and gradually becomes more present in his children's lives. His growth is subtle but noticeable. He becomes consistent, accountable, and less performative. However, the story does not reward this change with reconciliation. This is what makes the ending particularly powerful and realistic. 1 year later, Nancy has rebuilt her life. She's emotionally stable, financially independent, and has even purchased her own house. This achievement symbolizes more than success. It represents control, security, and a life no longer dependent on illusion. When Kenny returns, he does so with humility. He attempts to make amends by repaying part of the money he took and expresses a desire to rebuild their relationship. He apologizes sincerely and promises to do better. But Nancy refuses. Her response is calm, clear, and deeply impactful. She acknowledges his growth but does not allow it to undo the past. She understands that while people can change, change does not erase consequences. Trust, once broken at that level, cannot simply be restored. Her decision reflects one of the story's most important messages. Growth in one person does not obligate another to return. Nancy's final transformation is defined by self-awareness. She openly embraces the scar left by her experience, not as a sign of weakness, but as a reminder of what she has learned. Her statement that she will never again reduce herself to make a man feel large captures the essence of her journey. The closing narration extends this lesson beyond the characters to the audience. It warns against funding a man's performance of a life he was never intended to build with you. A powerful metaphor for relationships built on illusion rather than substance. In the end, this story is not about heartbreak, it is about clarity. It challenges viewers to question the difference between love and dependency, between potential and reality, and between sacrifice and self-destruction. It also highlights the importance of boundaries, self-respect, and the courage to walk away, even when emotions remain. Nancy's journey is not defined by the man who deceived her, but by the woman she becomes after leaving him. She does not just survive, she evolves. And that is what makes this story truly unforgettable. Thank you so much for watching and staying with us till the end. Your support truly means everything. If you enjoyed this story and want to experience the full movie with all the emotions, twists, and powerful moments, make sure you head over to UchennaMbunaboTV on YouTube to watch it in full. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories like this. See you in the next one.